1,000 years ago, an army of men, women, and children from Europe set out on a journey to reclaim things that were taken away from them by the Islamic Empire. They went on a crusade to recapture land and wealth, but the grand prize was the city of Jerusalem. These crusaders triumphed over their enemies, who they judged as infidels. Infidels are known as people who do not believe in the true king, and that this king is the only way a human being could reach the final destination of their life. To protect Jerusalem and the long road to the city, the king inspired the construction of a small army called the Knights Templar. But what began as a simple army later became one of the greatest military orders in the history of Europe. Professional soldiers that struck fear in every opponent that they faced. An organization that founded the world's first banking system. A holy militia that also became a great charitable organization. In this new century, millions of charities exist across the world, but none compared to the North Shore Rescue Mission, who honor the legacy of their leader. They are knights of the new century who have sworn their allegiance to a legendary king. They defend their leader's laws of the land that were passed down from generation to generation. The purpose of this army is to rescue the next generation of the world that has been captured by infidels. This small empire of knights have aspirations to distinguish themselves from others, like their ancestors did 1,000 years ago. In this present day, the knights have been reborn as men and women who have begun a crusade to win a war against their enemies, rivals who underestimate the power of the illustrious king, adversaries who doubt his power and refuse to be royal subjects of his kingdom. The new knights of this century are determined to expand the king's empire and build a greater army than what was held by their predecessors.
Workshop. Before we talk about
I joined the North Shore Rescue Mission because there was nothing here in the North Shore area. When I first got here, a lot of people didn't even know who Fred Hammond was. A lot of people didn't know anything. They never heard of Youth Congress. That's been going on for like 15 years. They never heard of like conventions. So I just joined it because there was like a thirst in the North Shore area.
North Shore Rescue Mission is an organization founded since 2007 with a group of young leaders, especially young women and young men. But I'm still the visionary, I'm still the founder, but we come together to put it together.
I moved to Malden around 2003 to help a pastor in Malvern, and I spoke to Sister Mary and I told him there's a lack of services for young people within the North Shore area. In the beginning, she said, well, it's going to be very difficult. And I said to her, we need to do it every single day. When I called Sister Mary, I talked to her and I told her that they need to have an organization that will respond to the social, educational, and spiritual need of our young people.
In the beginning, I was very hesitant. I didn't want to have anything because it's like I feel that because of the ministry, the church going on, all the details that I have to do in the church, I feel that there was a lot to do. But Pastor Ricardo was pushing me and asking me, then what are you waiting for? And finally, I pray about it, and then the Lord gave me a new vision to start something new in the North Shore area with the young women. And the people in the community last year was a bunch of young people, I can't even remember their names, but Marty Daniel, was part of it. Senzi Castor. There was a young guy at the Grace Church of God called Welsh, another one called Jervin, and from different churches, Marie from Pastor Thomas Church. And we do have a lot of young people that help us put it together, but we didn't put the structure in place yet. But this year, I come up with a board. We have 11 board members, starting from the chairman to the councilor. When we come with the word rescue, it's like we feel that a bunch of young people are out there, losing their lives in every aspect of the way, spiritually, emotionally, physically. They're like losing their lives. So we try to rescue those young people for God first. And because when you rescue for God, you can become a better citizen on earth and for also heaven.
To be a Knight Templar meant to be a truly fearless knight and secure on every side. Their soul was protected by the armor of faith, as their bodies were protected by the armor of steel. The name Knights Templar was chosen because their headquarters dwelled in the Temple of Solomon. Their logo of two knights riding together on horseback represent their humble beginnings. They began with very little money. Today, their predecessors from North Shore Rescue Mission have a deeper meaning for their logo.
The hand is to show that we're here to help. It's like if you need a hand, you can reach out. And the cross is to represent that Jesus is the one that can rescue you from anything, any circumstances. It's different colors for different nationality, different people. It's diverse, basically.
The Knights Templar had different divisions with special roles. One of them was a group that handled personal belongings and currency from pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem. This process transformed into the world's first banking system. Today, the North Shore Rescue Mission also has various divisions of their army with very special roles.
Like maybe the boys. Put down the names of the people. What is Wes doing all by himself here? That's his group. Let's do stability. No? Well, she needs to be in a group. Well, come here, though. Well, come here. You guys are too close. Move back. Move over.
No, we're not fundraising. I'm no longer fundraising. I'm advertisement committee.
We don't put people into committees. We ask them what they're good at. There's the advertising committee. There's the fundraising committee. There's the prayer team. There's also a deadline group. There's a flyer committee. There's program administration committee. There's a program group as well that assists me. We ask what are you good at, and then they write their name down, and then they work together. They meet once a week, sometimes more than that if there's a special event or project going on. And they get together and they get to know each other, and we spend time in prayer and stuff. But that's how they're chosen. They're chosen because we don't actually choose them, but that's the way they all get together.
I want this. What? No, what?
And don't be trying to get louder than the standard.
Molly, our group goes first. Molly, we're going first. We're going first. We're going first.
We're going over first.
What we're trying to do, since it's a youth organization, we're trying to get young people to do the job. So we have ideas that comes from young people, not from adults, because sometimes it's different way of thinking. However, it's true.
We want, I guess, for the next generation, we don't want these people that are.
Well, we're trying to get like fresh ideas, sometimes like whatever my parents went through, that doesn't mean that's what I'm going through in my generation, in my time. So that's why we're trying to get young people. How have they been chosen? Well, it's more like we look at them in ministry, like the ministry that they're doing, and we look at how they are, their relationship with God, definitely, and their capacity concerning like what they studied in. Some people did study in business or fashion, different things. So it's a lot of stuff that we take in consideration.
The Knights Templar began with the family of 9 knights and very little money. But in the year 1129, the Knights began one of the most successful recruiting and fundraising campaigns in history. They reached out to noble families across Europe, those with land, fortune, or a son to dedicate to the cause. The North Shore Rescue Mission have received donations from many sources, but they have already established greater methods of raising money.
Last year we had this conference. We had a great time, great words. It was a nice text. The students who came, the people came all over the place and so on, and they invite friends who were not even Haitian. So it was really good. It was a time of refreshing, because one of the things that they always say, youth cannot do, they cannot perform, but we dare to challenge anybody. Come to North Shore Rescue Mission, they will see exactly what we have.
The purpose, is first to spread the word of God, to evangelize, and second, to teach young people on every aspect of life, to let them know there's something better waiting for you ahead, instead of just living for the sake of live for the sake of living. So we need to let them know that you can be utile. And some young people sometimes think that they don't have a great or a bright future. And the purpose of the convention is to give you hope, and to give you hope for a better future. So this is the point of the convention.
There's other youth conventions that go on as well, youth conferences and stuff. But this youth convention, it has like 3 different aspects. We have a counseling side, we have a time we eat together, there's a prayer time, there's basketball time, there's game and activity time, there's an open forum time, there's workshop time. So I guess we're just adding more to the typical convention.
Another method of fundraising used by the North Shore Rescue Mission is a Christian prom known as the Galactic Night. It's marketed towards young adults and older teenagers. The purpose is to have a prom night where negative things cannot happen, such as drug and alcohol abuse and sexual misconduct. The first event took place more than 10 years ago, but stopped several years later. But then it returned in the spring of 2008 with a red carpet arrival and a gospel singer named Hugh White. Galactic Night of 2008 was a huge success, but the mission expects it to become extremely popular during the next few years.
For those of you who enjoyed Friday, who was blessed, make some noise. I see us in a place, in a building, and I see us doing community work with kids that don't know about Jesus, don't know about His saving grace, don't know about a lot of morals. They don't know about simple, basic life skills, cooking, cleaning, paying your bills. I mean, you don't have to be married to do all these things, you know what I mean?
North Shore Rescue Mission, I would like to see all those young people going to Galactic Night to be or to be part of this organization right now, putting things together to become, some of them will becoming the director, some of them will becoming the secretary, some of them will be like part of the organization, not only volunteering their time but also having some grant money for those people to get paid.
I'm asking people to give greatly. We have state exemptions, and you can ask any record, legal record, we'll give it to you, and then we can give you any accounting that the fund that you give has been used or will be used for the sole purpose, for charitable and educational purpose. If
somebody wants to make a donation, they can send it to North Shore Rescue Mission, 101 Pierce Street in Malden, 02148, until we have our own place.
But the only way that will work is if we have people to help give and donate money, because anything you invest in the kingdom of God, it doesn't go. It's not like you're investing in nothing. You're investing in a purpose.
The Knights Templar began with a family of 9 knights. But in the midst of 30 years, the Army grew to tens of thousands. The North Shore Rescue Mission are Templar Knights that have been reborn into this new century. They have begun modestly, but they believe that with the help of their patriarch, their empire will grow and become a much larger force.